So, hi, on the Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
Sean.
Zach.
And Drew from Old Neon.
And some questions to say about the upcoming EP Resolution. So, congrats on that, by the way. How do you guys feel about the response, the announcement so far?
Thanks so much. Right now we have two singles out. We have Nobody's Burden and Better Sun just dropped not too long ago, a couple days ago at the time we're recording this, and the reception's been great. Like people have been latching onto them, streaming them more than all the stuff that we've done in the past. Like, it's been our fastest growing couple of songs, and quality wise, like, we're really, really happy with how everything turned out. And yeah, just can't wait to drop the rest of it and share it with the world.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
The EP rips. It's so solid.
Damn straight.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We have really Matt Brash, who produced the EP from the Wonder Years. We have him really to thank so much for how the EPs turned out. Like, we worked with him in a pre-production, and then all the time that we spent in his studio, just the care and attention to detail that he very clearly had for the whole process, like, that made it what it is. So, really happy with him. And then Nick from the Wonder Years did the mix. He absolutely crushed it. And then Will Yip on mastering.
Got the whole team there, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, it just everyone at every step, like, you could tell how much they really cared and wanted to make something that they thought was great. And yeah, we came away with, I think, the best music that we've released to this point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Damn straight. Hell yeah. All right. And is there any meaning behind the EP title or cover art?
I think the art is just stills of us in the studio working. During the time we were there, we were working for, I think, like 14 hours a day. And then even after we left, Matt was like sending us cuts of songs at like 3 a.m. And it's just a sort of document. The title Resolution is more about our resolve to, we were very much at a crossroads before we started working on this project, where it was kind of like everyone was kind of at each other's throats a little bit, and sort of wondering, should we even continue to do this? And I guess the resolution for us was just like sticking together, standing by each other, and becoming better people to each other.
Gotcha. Well, was there something in particular that happened internally that pushed you guys to want to continue and make this EP happen? Because it sounds like the conflict was before the EP.
Yeah, I think that we all like love each other. It's just more like creative. We're all very passionate and creative people. Every single member of the band is a songwriter, and that's not always the case. And every single member of the band has an idea sonically of where they want things to be. And I think that it just got to a point where those two things, well, I mean, like, there were, different people wanting to do different things, and it seems so opposed at certain times, and that it became like a question of whether it was worth the fight, or whether, if we just kind of separated into like 2 or 3 different projects, if that was maybe going to make everyone happier. But I think the reason that we stuck together is that, 2 years ago we made a commitment to each other, and I think that we achieved the most together, and we believe in each other, because as much as I may disagree with, let's say, Drew sonically, I still think he's one of the best singers doing this, and I still think that he's just a world-class songwriter. So
Aww.
it's easy.
Thanks, dude.
So it's like an easy thing to, it's hard, right? Because like Drew and I in particular have different ideas, but it's also easy to kind of put yourself to the side and say, well, Drew's instincts are as good as mine, so I have to be able to trust this process of collaboration, I think.
That makes a ton of sense. So can you guys tell us a little bit about the writing process for the album?
Yeah, so for these, like, we wanted to make it a little more collaborative. like from the ground up, we wanted everything to be more like everyone has sort of a hands-on uh role in actually crafting the songs. Because like in the past, when we released our or when we were working on our first album, uh a lot of the time it would be someone comes to the table with a basically finished song, and then
Mhm.
everyone's like, okay, how do I fit in my like lead guitar part, my drums, whatever, like into uh something that already sort of exists. Where like with these 5 songs, we really wanted to have everyone sort of have their fingerprints on it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like for example, so Nobody's Burden started out as a basically completed instrumental from B, our guitar player, and they sent it over, and I was like, oh my God, I got some ideas. So I start cooking. I have like a melody and like basically what I want the song to be, and
Mhm.
then we present that to the group, and then from there, uh, we were just seeing like how does it feel like with everyone playing, and yeah, we still needed like a bridge. So the one day, we were just like kind of feeling it out, and Zach was really like spearheading that process musically. Like I
Mhm.
wanted to feel like this certain way, and as Zach was like leading that musical process, I'm hearing it take shape, and I'm like writing the bridge in real time in the room,
Mhm.
which was not something we had really ever done before. Just like uh, all the whole thing being completed at once,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and that was just like such a cool experience for like the writing.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's dope as shit.
yeah,
Drew pretty much hit it that in the past, yeah, we were all like writing together, but also individually
Mhm.
at the same time. It happened in a very piecemeal fashion, and which kind of ended up giving rise to like what Sean was speaking to, that then we would end up at odds because we weren't all involved together in the
Mhm.
process. Um, so yeah, with this EP, we made it a point that we were all very much involved from start to finish with each of the songs, and then we were working with Matt months ahead of when we even went to the studio. We'd cut a little demo, send it to him, and he'd send us some notes for things to try. We'd put those in, send them back, get more notes, and
Mhm.
so you know really it's kind of like sharpening the axe at all
Mhm.
times for months
Yeah.
on end, trying to put as much into each song, so that really none of it ended up at a stage where, okay, like, yeah, that was good enough. We asked ourselves, okay, well, what can make this better? Dozens of times. And
Mhm.
um, it's what, really made it stand out compared to all of our other stuff, at least, I think, in our opinion.
Absolutely. I'm curious about the timeline for the record in terms of when you guys kind of started writing it and when you had masters in hand. Rough dates, they don't have to be exact.
yeah, I know. The one song "People Pleaser" sort of existed in some form around the time of our last EP before this. It was like one of those things where it was like barely on the edge. We were like, we could like keep working on this and include it, or we could save it for later.
Mhm.
And we ended up shelving that one. So I mean, God, when was that? Like
That
a
was
year
just
ago?
after yeah, that was just after the first LP, I think. And then Better Son was actually a song that was on our previous EP, but it's just like it's a really personal lyric to me, and it just like when we finished the song, it like just didn't feel right, and it felt um
It was a totally different feel. Like it was a ballad,
yeah, it
you
was more
know?
of a ballad. It was a lot slower, and I remember sending everyone a message and saying like we can't release the song like this. There's a better
Yeah.
idea, because
Mhm.
Like
Drew
we had,
was messing around with the a little bit of a different tempo and practice, and I
yeah.
kind of just like bookmarked that in my head.
Mhm.
Like it was
And
we had a fully finished different version of that song. We had like it was all tracked, like mixed and mastered, ready to go. And we were
Mhm.
just like, yeah, we can do better with this.
yeah.
So
And then
then
Mike was like, did we need to pay to have this entirely produced before you decided it wasn't
yeah, I
ready?
know. But like sometimes that's how it is. Like sometimes you don't know if something's gonna work until like you're at the very end with it and you're like, eh. And like if you're walking away from a song feeling like, oh, ugh, we
Yeah.
we left something
Yeah,
on
it
the
just
table
wasn't
there. Like,
on. It just wasn't on the level that we got it to. I think we all kind of felt like we could do, uh, we could do more justice to the song itself. So
yeah,
Mhm.
we kind of took that back to square one with like an idea that Drew kind of just played offhand at practice, but I kind of had bookmarked in my mind as like, it seems like this is where I want the song to go, and then we kind of filled in the blanks from there. And I think we got a much better, outcome this time, which is really great and feels.
totally. And that sort of like started that was like the Sonic benchmark. It was like, okay, songs have to be like this good
Mhm.
to be able to make it to the EP, or like, they have to fit in with this new um sort of sound that we were making up for ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that makes
to,
complete
to
sense.
to answer your question with a little more specificity, Shane. So I guess, Better Son and People Pleaser, those songs had already been around for like the better part of 2 years or so. But then
Mhm.
whenever we really started uh, refining and writing more and drilling and working with Matt, that was probably late spring, early summer, where we started like sending him some stuff, maybe more into the summer. And then we tracked in November, and then we had the masters by sometime in February, like first, second week of February, something like that.
Damn. And then you just
Yeah.
turned it around, and it's coming out in a
Mhm.
few weeks.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think after that it was pretty, once you get the masters back, it's pretty smooth sailing. You just decide on artwork and move forward. But
Yeah,
luckily, I mean, we're not in a position where we have any sort of label telling us we have to hang on to things, so we can kind of just spit it out as we want to.
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
That's great. So, what song off the EP took the longest to write, and which one is each of your own personal favorite?
Oh, well, I think probably Better Son and People Pleaser just because there were revisions of those songs that happened over time, whereas
Mm.
I think the other three, for the most part, even though Nobody's Burden we were working on in the room, like Drew said, for the most part, those like
Those
Baby
happened pretty
Blue
quickly.
and Blizzard was like a weekend. I don't think we made it. Did we make a single change from your demo?
well, Blizzard
Um,
actually had a previous demo from like 3 years ago,
that's
Oh, I didn't know
right.
that.
which
Yeah,
we
yeah.
Oh
forgot
my
about.
goodness.
I
I
Yeah.
totally
totally
forgot.
forgot about that.
Yeah, Blizzard was just a chorus. Blizzard was just a chorus like that I was demoing out, and then like after the chorus, it was the most like generic, like cut and paste pop punk song. If you would have
Mhm.
told me my Blizzard demo from 3 years ago was made by AI, I would believe you. Like it was not good. So like, but the hook was there. I was like, man. So it was one of those things where like I just had to kind of forget about it
Mhm.
for a while, and then I was working on like a song that was not even meant to be Blizzard. Like I was just like working on the verse.
Mhm.
And then I was like, okay, that kind of flows. And then I was like, wait, oh my God, that's the chorus. We're so back. And like just
Yeah,
sort of
we're so back.
was able to glue it together. So, but yeah, I guess like in terms of like when we started like working on the actual project, very quickly after we started, like within a month, um, of like starting those other songs, like they were done. So
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that brings up a good point too, is we actually have a ton of demos sitting in our Google Drive that we're just kind of like waiting for parts for, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, a song may have been entered into the Google Drive 2 years ago, forgotten, remembered, forgotten again, and then someone's like, "Oh, I remember liking this hook," and then finally it gets finished. And that's happened to us kind of a lot, but yeah, I didn't even remember the Blizzard one. I totally forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. So did I until Zach said something. Um, yeah, but I guess in terms of like what my favorite one on the EP is right now, they've all been my favorite at one point or another. Like I'll find myself just like I would find myself like after we get mixes back or whatever, just like going back and like, yes, this
Mhm.
is what we're trying to do. Um, but I guess my favorite right now is Baby Blue.
I think mine is definitely still Better Son, just because that was such like a thought child of mine, and to see it like come to fruition and exist in the at least in the space that I had hoped for it is like a real full circle kind of
Mhm.
moment for me. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah. I I would also say Better Son. Close second probably is Baby Blue because it has a big breakdown at the end that like rhythmically I contributed a lot to, and then 2/5 at least of the band ended up hating it, and so I love that. Uh, uh, but Better Son, I don't know, uh, it just soars. You know, the chorus really is just so massive, and I think it really scratches an itch that we as a band hadn't really scratched before,
Mhm.
and there's just sentimental value in the version that we just released. The first time that we played that version in the room, it just happened very effortlessly and
Mhm.
naturally. And at the end of it, we all just like kind of shared a look with each other. Um, just that we were all very, very like satisfied with what we just did, and
Mhm.
that's the things like that uh, are really, really great to hold on to.
Hell yeah, love it.
100%. Mm.
So for this question, I want each of you to pick your favorite lyric off the EP and tell us the meaning behind it.
Okay, for me, it's gonna be Blizzard, um, first verse. So the whole lyric is as you keep on moving forward, remember what you left behind. As the days keep growing shorter, I miss your light. And the devil's in the details. Couldn't see it myself, but he was really there for you. Made you pick another time zone, move away, and just hope he doesn't follow too. So like
Mm.
that's about a couple people in my life, but really like my brother, who we used to both live in Pittsburgh, and for like a lot of reasons, he just would not be happy here.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of it's like the seasonal depression that hits you if you're not like
Yeah.
resilient to it. It will eat you up. Um, but it's like it's about how like when uh the things that make you happy in a place that makes you happy does not make someone you love happy, and it is causing them to like suffer.
Mhm.
And just how difficult that is. Like devil's in the details, couldn't see it myself, but he was really there for you, the other person. So
Yeah.
I don't know. When I wrote that, it was like I was a little um I was able to give words to a feeling that I had that I
Yeah.
wasn't able to express before. So yeah, that's my answer.
Solid.
Good
That's
answer.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Mm. Mhm.
I think for me, it is the first line of Better Son, which is I've got a resolution to keep myself alive. My uncle died very young at 35, um, more or less like after partying on New Year's. He just like went unconscious and never woke up.
Yeah.
And I was kind of going down, I feel like, a similar road uh, as he was when I was that age. And I was just like, it was kind of just me saying to myself, like, I can't allow history to repeat itself, because I feel like if that happens to me as well, then I will have, only sort of half lived. And I wanted to be there for my friends, be there for my partner, be there for my chosen family, if you will.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I think that's just like me kind of sticking a flag in the ground and saying like, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change my life because I see the sort of the road that I'm on, and it didn't happen overnight. Like it took a lot of years of like uh, working on myself, but it was still like a moment in time where I was like, you know, um, I'm not gonna let this sort of like the sort of destiny and the sort of like anxiety of this destiny of like, after he died, I was like a kid, and part of the song is like I was so like messed up by it that I had to be like institutionalized for a while. And I think a lot of it was this anxiety of sort of like death is chasing me. Like I sort of for the first time in my life thought like multiple people in my family have died very young, and uh, now I have to live with the sort of anxiety of like, is this sort of like a final destination, like,
Mm.
like sort of cat and mouse game with
Yeah.
myself and fate, and I think that was like a very powerful, like, for me anyway, just a moment where I was like, I'm going to make sure that I am. Uh, Not susceptible to the same sorts of uh, things that have dragged people in my life down. And I was
Mhm.
able to kind of get into therapy and break free of certain cycles, and uh, not necessarily heal or better myself, but to just like get past a specific roadblock.
Yeah,
So that was really important for me.
absolutely. I appreciate you sharing that, and I'm glad to hear that you've been able to move past it.
Yeah, thanks so much, Shane.
I would say for me, also from Better Son, but the pre-chorus lyric, we're all in survival mode, stitching up war wounds. I haven't given up yet, but I'm running on fumes. Um, just for me personally, it just speaks to like the really difficult space that exists or that like one can find themselves in. Is dealing with, perhaps trauma or just various difficult things that happen, and wanting better for yourself, but just how hard that can be to achieve and work toward at the same time. Um, yeah, that's something that just through my experience and just like the area of work that I do is just something that I'm reminded of often, something that I see often, something that I have dealt with a lot, and so it just really connects with me.
Absolutely.
100%.
Zach is a
And
therapist, by the way.
I was getting that.
yeah, picking it up, right? Yeah. And would you guys be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating the EP?
I think it was a lot of it's like a sort of fun and exhaustion that kind of happens sort of simultaneously a lot, because it is a lot of hours, and sometimes it's a lot of hours just playing like one thing over and over again, because it has
Mhm.
to be, to go on to a record, ideally it has to be like flawless in every way. And
Mm.
even the best guitar player in the world or the best bassist or the best what have you in the world, no matter how high your fidelity is to perfection, you're still going to have like a muscle twitch here or like a finger twitch there, and like it's going to be imperfect. And trying to sort of like sit for, in some cases. I mean, I'll give B as an example, because B had, playing lead guitar on both Nobody's Burden and Baby Blue with like these really intricate parts, and like having to again have that like 100% fidelity to perfection.
Mhm.
uh, Sometimes it just takes, you know 30 takes of just one part, and that can just wear you down over time, and it's
Yeah.
maddening in its own way. But then, you hope in the end it's sort of worth it. um, but I think that there was a lot of exhaustion, a lot of fatigue, a lot of um, fun. I mean, I know I can speak for myself, Drew, and Zach. We had a little PS5 in the corner, and we were just going nuts, playing Days Gone and playing the Hot Wheels game that we got
Hell
obsessed
yeah.
Yeah,
with.
Hell yeah.
dude, every time I hear like the intro riff to Nobody's Burden, I'm instantly transported back to us playing that Hot Wheels game and me just
Yeah.
absolutely crushing. Like I no life that game whenever you guys were tracking. It was
Yeah.
great.
It's like
That's
one
so
of the
wonderful.
thing about PS5 is there's very few games that you can play like share screen two player. Everything's sort of
Mhm.
online two player now.
Yeah.
So we had to like find like just whatever games were available, and Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 was one of those games. So we just went nuts on Hot Wheels. And then
Yeah.
we went deep into Days Gone just sharing controllers, and like whenever someone would have to track, we would just switch controllers.
Off. Yeah.
I felt like the big brother because whenever they like got to a part they couldn't beat, they were like, "Woo, can you beat this for me?" And like
Oh
gave me
my
the
God,
controller.
please.
No
Yeah, that's a
way.
true story.
That is
actually.
not true.
Yeah,
No,
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 it's so
way.
true.
That's so
And
kind
they're
of
lying
you.
if they tell you different.
Oh my
That's so
God.
I don't know
kind.
Yeah, but,
why
like,
I tell you
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
But,
I'd previously beaten the game. Thank you. This
Oh.
is my second
yeah,
playthrough.
all by yourself. That's
All
really
by
good.
myself.
I'm
I
so
didn't
proud.
need you.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Beef.
Yeah, but like, you know, in between those moments of like, you know, take 27 of like the same thing, which is necessary sometimes, but like you'd get like when you finally get it, or like you'd finally hear like the song sort of click and like come together. Or like, you know, you'd be like, ah, that's it. That's it. That's why we're doing this. You know,
Yeah.
so like those moments of just pure joy and like just hearing everything come together, like that's what keeps you going.
Absolutely.
There's also during the there's like a horde mechanic in this game, and which is like zombie hordes chasing
We're back
you.
to Days Gone.
Yeah.
Wait. Well, this is part of my experience, and that's why
Of
I'm
course. Yes, yes.
This
Sure,
was his
okay,
headspace.
yeah.
Days Gone.
Exactly. Days Gone.
Well, it's because Zach would pretend to be anxious during those parts, and he would just keep saying, "Oh God," like in a really scared voice, and
I
that
love
is
doing
like
that shit.
that is
Yeah.
like permanently imprinted on my brain. Like I cannot not hear that when I play through a game now.
Yeah.
That's great.
That shit's so fun.
I was actually anxious.
No, you were not.
Yeah, a little bit. There were a lot of zombies chasing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, that was partly my headspace. The rest of it was of course it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of hard work, and also, you know, drums went down first, and so that happened Sunday evening, and then Monday, for the first time we went out. And so I just had like 6 days of nothing.
Mhm.
So my headspace was mostly Days Gone. And then we went back to finish up People Pleaser. And, you know, drums are already down for that. And so we just had one day in Matt's basement where I had nothing to do. And so I played Red Dead Redemption for 14 hours straight. And I picked a lot of herbs.
He just kept saying Lord Herbs all day.
Lord.
So yeah, my headspace was mostly in that of herbs in Red Dead Redemption.
Was in that of another video game at all times. That's
Yeah.
great.
So mostly we just played video games, I guess it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You played video games and then somehow an album or EP came out. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt worked really hard. We played
Yeah.
video games.
there you go. There you go.
That's what it is.
So this question should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you guys to each describe the album in 3 words, no more, no less. 9 words total.
I think it is energetic, fun, and reflective at times.
Wonderful.
Heartfelt.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say energetic too, because I can't think of a different word.
No, that's fair.
Heartfelt, energetic, and catchy. The songs are catchy. At least I think so.
True.
There you go.
I
Zombie
agree. I
hordes.
concur.
They did all the good ones. I'm gonna do Kool-Aid Man because it runs through a wall and says, "Oh yeah."
You know
I'm
what?
sorry, you guys. I'm real sorry.
Appropriate.
That wasn't good.
You know
That was-
what? No, it's iconic. We've never gotten that one before. So unique.
Ugh,
Yeah.
You know? Are you locking it in?
I'm fired. I'm fired.
Lock that one right
Yeah,
in. That
lock
was
it in.
solid.
Locking it in. Yeah.
Already exists.
perfect.
I actually
Yeah,
didn't
do
mind
it.
Kool-Aid Man.
I thought it was
Kool-Aid Man
wonderful.
it is.
Yeah, hell yeah. And are you guys able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments during the creation of the EP, positive or negative?
Well, I guess the time crunch was a real thing because like we were out there for 8 days was our initial period of time that we were going to be spending out in Philly recording this thing. And we had 5 songs to get done. And as we were like approaching like the middle of that process, we were like, okay, it's looking like we're not going to get song number 5, which was People Pleaser, done in time. But like if we do all of these things very quickly the
Oh,
next day
no.
when we
I
go
know
in,
I know where this is going.
yeah, like we'll be okay. We'll get song 5 done. The path to People Pleaser
Mhm.
will be able to be walked.
Mhm.
And we just abbreviated that as path to PP. So every
Yeah.
night we would
There
come
it
home from the
is.
studio
Hell yeah.
and be like, all right, what's our path to PP? And
Mhm.
the path to PP every
Mhm.
day would just
Mhm.
get longer and harder. The path to PP
That's
would just
awesome.
Every
be,
time I
Yeah.
think maybe he won't do it this time, but then
Yeah.
he does it, and here we are.
Yep.
Path
But
to
we also
PP.
we did finish Days Gone, so that was a pretty monumental
That is true. That
That
is
was an
true.
easy path to
Yeah.
PP.
But we ended up not getting it done
Mhm.
on the first trip, so we had to come back to Philly.
Yeah, we had to finish People Pleaser, but we did finish Days Gone, so that felt
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. Double
Yeah.
whammy. Yeah.
And yeah, the day we recorded People Pleaser, I was ill. Like I had the flu and I was recovering. So the other songs we went like basically all the way through and then would like go back and do like spots. It's like, we could get this a little bit. But like People Pleaser was like I was I had like no stamina. Like I had to go like line by line. And
Yeah.
we got her done.
Damn
I had
straight.
fun the whole
Yeah.
time. I just was having a ball. I think maybe other people were getting mentally exhausted, but I was like, "This is great. Let's do more." And then,
Yeah.
You guys have
and
so much
then
fun.
let's go to lunch with Matt Brash and ask him a bunch of questions.
Yeah. That's
Hell yeah.
good.
Hell yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah, the only challenge, the challenge that comes to mind for me was that,
Picking herbs.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that was a grind. There's only so many places where current spawns in the map on Red Dead Redemption, so it takes a while to find
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt is so creative, and so we bounced a lot of creativity, of course, back and forth in the months before. But then, whenever you're in the room um, with someone who's creative and everyone's trying to be creative, you know the the there's no boundaries, right? So like, creative stuff just starts happening. And so yeah, I'm very much like a insane level preparer, as I think the others would agree with that. And so, going in, it's like, okay, I have everything that I'm doing, and I've been practicing it for dozens of hours, and I'm gonna be so quick and so such and so on. But Matt's so creative that he kept coming up with ideas, and so for me, I have my own challenges with just being able to change on the spot, do some improv stuff, take some stuff in, put it to practice. Um, and so a little bit of a challenge, a great challenge. And it was one that I'm very thankful for in Matt, not only with me, but with all of us, being creative on the spot and then pushing us to get the best thing out of our part, our talent, our time there.
Yeah.
Something that sticks out to me.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Straight.
So for the last couple questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on
Oh my
death
God.
row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, Coke Zero would be my drink because I drink it.
Solid.
For meal, I mean, I think I'm just gonna have like, because this is my last meal and I don't have to worry about the consequences. So I think I'm gonna have like just a big old birthday cake and
Hell yeah.
well, no, maybe like a small, like maybe like a slice of birthday cake. Now that I'm thinking about it, you don't want
Okay.
your last memory to just be throwing up. And then like a slice of pizza because I'll need the salt to
To
enjoy the
counteract.
Coke Zero.
Yeah.
Good.
I would go for some steak frites and an old fashioned.
Ooh,
Hell yeah.
damn
yeah.
straight.
I'm doing a panini press from Wawa and a Baja Blast.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
sure you would.
solid.
Look, why the hell not? You know what I mean? If it ain't broke.
Don't fix it, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And if you guys could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
The map of Red Dead Redemption.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, same. I'm there.
I
Red
think
Dead.
I'm.
Okay, 2 Red Deads.
I think I'm going to Hyrule. I'm gonna
Oh,
just
shit.
live.
Oh,
I'm just
That's
gonna
good.
live in that universe for a bit. Pick
Mhm.
some food, cook it on a little open flame,
Mhm.
make some
pick some
delicacies,
herbs, maybe.
pick some herbs
Always
even.
with
Actually,
the herbs. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think I'd live in Skyrim. I'd live in
Yes.
Skyrim and I'd give you
Mhm.
like the weirdest side quest. You'll
Oh.
you'd stumble into
You would
town
be the NPC that gives you the weird side quest.
100%. I'm just standing there like this for like hours.
Just
And
waiting
then
for
like,
someone to interact. Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, I give
Yeah.
you a waypoint like way across the map. You're like, what does this fool want with something all the way over there?
Yeah. It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
give you
nothing.
busy work.
Yeah.
If you get
Yeah.
bored, you know? Yeah.
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 And I've done asked the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Oh, I think mine's black.
So if I were to be that annoying person to say like black's a shade, not a color, what would your fallback be? What's your second favorite color?
So it has to be like on this, like on the color spectrum, on the color
Yeah.
wheel, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, on the color wheel.
I like pink too. I like pink like a lot.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Pink. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're so
Sorry.
welcome.
I'm also a pink fella. I have
Yeah.
both a pink backpack and water bottle here.
Mhm.
This
So
shade
wonderful.
specifically,
Ooh.
this pink.
Like a
Hell
little
yeah.
dusty pink.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Classic. Yeah.
I'm gonna go green. I'm saying like a forest green.
Mm-hmm.
Springtime stuff is blooming type green.
Is that what the
Yeah.
Between You and Me shirt is?
This is a little darker,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
honestly, also my favorite. Any green.
Yeah.
Dark
Any
green.
green.
Yeah.
Green.
Green.
Wonderful. Hell yeah.
So as I said, that's all the questions you have to say. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
Just check out the EP. We're Old Neon Music everywhere. Come hang out with us. Come to shows. Yeah, that's about it.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you for silence, guys. Been Old Neon, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.